Picture this. You're on vacation in Thailand. Beautiful beaches, amazing food, living your best life. You're walking down a street in Bangkok when a stray dog approaches you. Looks friendly enough, wagging tail. You reach down to pet it. It nips your hand. Not a vicious bite, just a quick snap. Barely breaks the skin. You wash it off, put on a Band-Aid, and forget about it. You fly home 3 days later. Everything's normal. You're back at work, back to your routine. The bite healed fine, no big deal. 3 weeks later, you start feeling weird. Hey there, what disease has a 100% fatality rate once symptoms appear? Not 99%, not 99.9%, 100%. If you show symptoms, you're dead, guaranteed. If you said rabies, congratulations, you just contracted the most terrifying virus known to humanity. Here's the nightmare part. That bite 3 weeks ago, the virus is already in your brain. It's been traveling up your nerves this entire time, slowly, silently. And now that you have symptoms, there's no cure, no treatment, no hope. You have about 7 to 10 days left to live, and those days are going to be the most horrifying experience a human being can endure. Let's find out what rabies does when it kills you. So what exactly is rabies, and why is it the only disease with a 100% fatality rate once symptoms start? Rabies is a virus, specifically a lyssavirus, that attacks your central nervous system. It's been around for thousands of years. Ancient civilizations documented it. They called it madness because of what it does to your brain. Here's how you get it. An infected animal bites you. The virus enters through the wound. Then it does something uniquely terrifying. Instead of spreading through your bloodstream like most viruses, it travels through your peripheral nerves, slowly, moving toward your spinal cord and brain at a rate of about 3 millimeters per hour. This is why symptoms can take weeks or even months to appear. The virus has to travel from the bite location all the way to your brain. If you got bitten on your hand, that's a long journey. If you got bitten on your face, symptoms appear much faster. That's worse. Less time to get the vaccine. And here's the critical window. If you get the post-exposure vaccine before symptoms appear, you're fine. 100% survival rate. The vaccine stops the virus before it reaches your brain. But once symptoms start, once that virus is in your central nervous system, you're done. There's no coming back. Why? Because the virus attacks your brain cells directly. Specifically, it targets neurons and causes massive inflammation in your brain and spinal cord. Your brain literally swells inside your skull, and there's no treatment that can stop it once it starts. Only 14 people in recorded history have survived symptomatic rabies. 14 out of tens of thousands of cases, and most of those survivors have permanent, severe brain damage. So really, the survival rate is functionally 0. Let's break down the timeline. From the moment symptoms appear to the moment you die, you're looking at 7 to 10 days, sometimes less. Let's go through this day by day and watch what this virus does to you. Days 1 to 2, the prodromal phase. Something's wrong. You feel off. Can't quite explain it. You're tired, more tired than normal. You got a headache, mild fever, body aches. Feels like the flu. You take some Tylenol and try to shake it off. But there's something else, something weird. That bite mark from 3 weeks ago, the one that healed perfectly, it's tingling, itching, burning. You keep scratching at it even though there's nothing there, just smooth skin, but the sensation won't stop. This is the rabies virus announcing its presence. It's reactivating nerve endings at the bite site, sending false signals. Your brain is getting its first taste of the damage to come. You're also feeling anxious, not normal anxiety, deep, primal fear. For no reason. You're sitting on your couch watching TV and your heart is pounding. You feel like something terrible is about to happen. You are correct. Something terrible is happening, inside your brain, right now. The virus has reached your brainstem and is beginning to inflame your limbic system, the part of your brain that controls emotion and fear. It's literally making you terrified, and you don't know why. Most people go to the doctor at this point, complaining of flu-like symptoms and weird anxiety. The doctor sees nothing obviously wrong, maybe runs some basic tests, Everything looks fine. They send you home. Rest and fluids. You'll feel better soon. You won't. Days 3 to 4, the acute neurological phase begins. Reality breaks down. This is where rabies shows its true horror. You wake up on day 3 and something is fundamentally wrong. You're not just sick, you're losing your mind. Your anxiety has transformed into full panic, uncontrollable panic. Your heart is racing, you're sweating, you feel like you're going to die. Because you are, but your conscious mind doesn't know that yet. You're also becoming confused, disoriented. You forget where you are, you forget what day it is. You start conversations and lose track of what you were saying. Your family notices. They're getting seriously worried now. And then the hallucinations start. You see things that aren't there. Shadows moving in your peripheral vision, faces in the darkness. You hear whispers, voices. Your brain is misfiring, creating false sensory input. The inflammation is spreading. But here's where rabies becomes truly unique. Here's the symptom that defines this disease and makes it unlike anything else. You try drinking water. You pick up a glass, bring it to your lips, and your throat seizes violently. You start choking, gasping, can't swallow, can't breathe. Panic floods your system. This is hydrophobia, fear of water, the most iconic symptom of rabies. And it's not actually fear. It's a violent, involuntary spasm of your throat muscles triggered by the attempt to swallow liquids. Your rabies virus has infected your brainstem, the part that controls swallowing. When you try to drink, it triggers massive, painful spasms in your throat and diaphragm. It's so painful, so terrifying, that your brain starts associating water with danger. Eventually, just seeing water causes panic. Just hearing water being poured causes your throat to spasm. You become terrified of the thing you need most to survive. You're dying of thirst while being surrounded by water you physically cannot drink. Your family rushes you to the hospital. Finally, the ER doctor sees you, confused, hallucinating, hydrophobic. They ask about animal bites. You remember, the dog in Thailand 3 weeks ago. The doctor's face changes. They know. They've just confirmed their worst suspicion. You have rabies, symptomatic rabies, and they can't save you. They admit you, not to treat the rabies. You can't treat rabies at this stage. They admit you to make you comfortable, to manage your symptoms, to keep you from hurting yourself, because what comes next is going to be violent. Days 5 to 7, the furious phase. You become the monster. This is where rabies earned its reputation. This is where infected people become the stuff of nightmares. There are 2 forms of rabies, paralytic and furious. You have furious rabies. Most people do. You're agitated, extremely agitated. You can't sit still. You're pacing, thrashing. The nurses try to calm you down. You lash out. You're not violent by nature, but the virus is controlling you now. It's making you aggressive. Your muscles are spasming. Not just your throat, your whole body, involuntary jerking movements. Your face contorts, your limbs flail. You have no control. The virus is attacking your motor neurons. Your body is betraying you. You're producing excessive saliva, so much saliva. It's foaming at your mouth. You can't swallow it because of the throat spasms, so it just accumulates, dripping down your chin. The classic rabies image, foaming at the mouth. This isn't accidental. The virus is using you. It's making you produce saliva because that's how it spreads, through saliva, into bites. It's turning you into a transmission vector. You're not a person anymore. You're a virus incubator. You're also hypersensitive to everything. Light hurts your eyes. Sound is overwhelming. A gentle touch feels like fire. Your brain's sensory processing is completely destroyed. Everything is amplified. Everything is painful. Air blowing on your skin can trigger spasms. A draft, a fan, anything. This is called aerophobia, fear of air. Another late-phase rabies symptom. Your brainstem is so inflamed that normal sensory input causes violent reactions. You're still conscious through all of this. That's the truly horrifying part. You're aware. You know what's happening to you. You know you're dying. You know you're losing your mind, but you can't stop it. You're trapped inside a body that's being destroyed by a virus. Your family is outside the room. They can't come in. It's too dangerous. You might bite them. You might transmit the virus. They're watching through a window as you deteriorate into something unrecognizable. The medical staff has restraints on you. For your safety, for theirs. You're sedated, but the virus fights through it. Nothing can calm your brain now. It's too far gone. Days 8 through 10, the final stage, paralysis and death. The furious phase is ending, not because you're getting better, because your nervous system is shutting down completely. The paralysis starts in your extremities. Your hands and feet go numb, then immobile. The paralysis spreads upward, your legs, your arms. You can't move. The virus has destroyed so many neurons that signals can't travel anymore. Your breathing becomes labored. The muscles that control breathing are failing. Your diaphragm is paralyzed. You're suffocating, slowly. The medical team puts you on a ventilator. It breathes for you, keeping you alive for a few more hours, maybe a day. But your brain is dying. The inflammation is catastrophic, massive swelling, neurons dying by the millions. You're slipping in and out of consciousness. The hallucinations are constant now. You don't know what's real anymore. Your heart rate becomes irregular, arrhythmia. The virus has reached your cardiac control centers. Your heart is trying to beat, but the signals are confused, erratic. And then it stops. Cardiac arrest. Your heart gives out. The ventilator's still breathing for you, but there's no heartbeat, no blood flow. Your brain has seconds left. The medical team tries to resuscitate you, chest compressions, defibrillator, but it's futile. They know it's futile. They're just going through the motions, giving your family hope that doesn't exist. After 20 minutes, they stop. Time of death is called. You're gone. Dead at 28. From a dog bite you barely noticed. From a vaccine you didn't get because you thought it wasn't a big deal. The experience. So what does it actually feel like subjectively to die from rabies? At first, confusing. You feel sick, but you don't understand why it's getting worse, why the anxiety won't stop, why that old bite wound is tingling. You think it's stress or the flu, not a death sentence. Then terrifying, when the hydrophobia starts, when you physically cannot drink water, when your throat seizes and you can't breathe, when you realize something is catastrophically wrong with your brain. Then horrifying, when you lose control, when you become violent and you can't stop yourself, when you're foaming at the mouth and thrashing and you're still conscious enough to know how you look, how you've become. Survivors of near-miss rabies cases describe it as the worst psychological torture imaginable, being trapped in a body that's fighting against you, being aware as your mind disintegrates, knowing you're going to die and being forced to experience every moment of the deterioration. And unlike most deaths, rabies doesn't offer you the mercy of unconsciousness until the very end. You're lucid, at least partially, through most of it. Your brain is being destroyed but not shut off. You feel everything. Reality check. About 59,000 people die from rabies every year worldwide, most in Asia and Africa, most from dog bites. Every single one of those deaths was preventable. If you get bit by a potentially rabid animal and you get the post-exposure prophylaxis shots immediately, you will not die. Period. 100% survival rate. The vaccine works. It just has to be given before symptoms start. Once symptoms appear, there's no treatment. There's something called the Milwaukee Protocol, an experimental treatment involving induced coma and antivirals. It's been tried 37 times. It saved 5. That's a 13% survival rate. And all 5 survivors have severe brain damage. Most hospitals won't even attempt it, because even if you survive, you won't really survive. The person you were is gone. So there you have it. Rabies. 100% fatal, absolutely terrifying, and completely preventable. Here's my advice from someone who knows how this ends. If an animal bites you, dog, cat, bat, raccoon, anything, get the rabies shots immediately. Don't wait. Don't convince yourself it's fine. Yeah, the shots are expensive. Yeah, they're inconvenient. Multiple doses over 2 weeks. But you know what's more inconvenient than getting vaccinated? Dying of rabies at 28 after 10 days of psychological and physical torture beyond human comprehension. The vaccine is free in most countries. In the US, even without insurance, it's cheaper than a funeral. Hit subscribe if this makes you never skip the rabies vaccine after an animal bite. And to everyone saying the odds are so low, every single person who died of rabies thought the same thing. Stay safe, get vaccinated, and if something with teeth breaks your skin, see a doctor.